Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Yep, it's the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club. Charlamagne the God, Angela Yee. We got a couple special guests in the building. Eric Adams and Shaun, Lynda.
Yes, both friends of mine. First of all, representing my borough, Brooklyn.
Never heard of it.
We have our Brooklyn Borough President, Eric Adams, and Shaun Lynda, who I've done some work with at for financial literacy. And you are promoting today this free 8-week financial literacy seminar.
Yes, we are. Welcome all and all welcome. We're promoting free financial literacy classes at Borough Hall for 8 weeks. And what we teach is we try to create a wealth mindset, which is different than, like making money kind of thing. It's really trying to create a sense of change in where you're thinking of money to help you create the lifestyle that you're choosing to create for yourself. And the program talks about credit, learning to live without, which talks about wants versus needs, education, tying in education to finance, attention to detail, which is about branding, which both of you guys have done so well, branding yourselves, and then no shame in your game. Mm-hmm. And thankful enough, the borough president has assisted us with helping put the program together.
What's the no shame in the game part of it?
Doing what you want to do, what your God-given gifts are in life.
Gotcha.
I think wealth is about achieving. There's a common denominator in achieving wealth, and it's the same way you guys have achieved wealth, really focusing on your brand.
I'm broke, baby.
Define your term of broke, but focusing on your brand, leveraging your brand, creating opportunities with your brand, and then creating multiple sources of income after your brand, because you're more than just, Charlamagne on the radio. You're more than Angela Yee on the radio. You guys have created multiple sources of revenue for yourself, and it's creating that mindset, that wealth mindset.
And I think it's also great to create that mindset, but also create opportunities and things that are meaningful to you and to your community too.
Yeah, no, so important. And I think that oftentimes we look at financial wealth instead of emotional wealth. Mm-hmm. And I think when I left the police department, I remember how broken I was in so many pieces and dealing with PTSD and dealing with the stress of life. And when I look at your book and reading through your book, I gave it to my son because by the time black men finish their careers or they start to mature as young adults, they don't realize that trauma, and then financial insecurity adds to that trauma.
Hell yeah.
There were many days, man, I looked at that 38 and I was like, you know what? Why don't we just finish this?
Wow.
And it's just getting through all of that. You're thinking about, hey, you got you have a male child you're trying to raise, going through from being arrested as a child, being beat by the police, being shot at when I was a police officer, starting 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement. All of those burdens, you don't need a new burden of financial insecurity. And that's why what we're trying to do, there's a paradigm shift that's happening. What you're doing around health, Juices for Life, people, the Veg Fest, Black Veg Fest that we did, what your book is doing. There's a generation that they may not think that they're being broken in many pieces because we're moving so fast. But what you are exposing folks to, let's be financially sound, let's be spiritually sound, and let's also be sound in how we give back to our communities.
You know what's so interesting about that, Eric? I feel like we're the first generation that has the luxury of any type of healing. Whether it's mental, whether it's physical, we're the first generation that has the luxury to actually, go out there and figure out how to thrive instead of just surviving like our parents and grandparents.
Well said, man. Well said.
Let me give you a clear example. The great thing about teaching financial literacy, and I've been able to teach in many different places, and one of the places that's closest to my heart is Brownsville, Brooklyn. And I teach at...
Great place. Love it.
Absolutely. And I teach at Jefferson High School. And the kids there are, some kids come from all different backgrounds. You can't judge. And when you teach financial literacy and you spend time with them, it's not like a one-and-done class. I'm there for 3 months. You see the change. I've seen kids that come up to me. One kid said, because one thing we asked at the beginning of the class is write down your goals, what you want to do. I don't care what it is, just write it down. And one kid said, I want to open up a strip club. And we spent the class talking about the business. We spent the class talking about the business of a strip club, the risk associated with it, who your clientele is going to be, and exactly, and the effects of opening up a strip club. His mind after the 12 weeks changed. He said, he started looking at real estate. He wants to buy in Brooklyn. And the same thing, a kid that used to be a booster, same thing. He was always talking about boosting this and that. By the end of the class, he's looking at different angles on how to invest. He's looking at the stock market. And I always say the difference is they just don't know.
That's it.
And once they know and they get it and they see what equity can do, and you don't have to hide money under your couch in a shoebox, they get it. It connects with them. They relate to it. And another principal I went to see, he said, well, you teach at Jefferson. These kids must, what do you do with the problem kids? And, I've been teaching this for 4 years. I've never had a problem kid. Never one that's outspoken, that's been rude, because they connect. And he said, never. I said, never. And I said, it's just that we're not teaching these kids the right things in the right way and how to execute them. Once they connect with it, they want to learn, they grasp the information, and you see the change happen week by week. You see them going home, asking their parents things that they learned that grew up in the household. Don't answer the phone when the bill collector calls. You see them now understanding why it's important to answer the call, why it's important to have credit. All your credit does for you is give you a discount. And if you understand that hustle, then you're gonna I need to deal with it. I'm gonna keep my credit because I want that discount. I want that discount. I don't want to pay a surplus for everything else. I don't want to have to put. A gentleman out there told me he just was about to lease a car outside. And he has to put $20,000 down. I drive a Tesla.
Is that the big guy with the dreadlocks?
I don't want to call out names,
he does.
But I always ask people, who's paying more, the guy with the Porsche or the guy with the Honda? The answer is we don't know.
Yeah.
It's all about your credit.
You know what I love what you just said? You look past the surface of something, right? Somebody goes, hey, I want to open a strip club. You immediately shoot that kid's dream down. But when you do that, you're shooting down his energy of entrepreneurship, his energy of ownership.
Right.
He just communicates and make him understand the business of a strip club.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not as what you see on TV. It's a lot of risk associated, a lot of stress, fines, police coming in.
You want to go deeper. When I was growing up in South Jamaica, I'm from Brooklyn, but Mom took us to South Jamaica Queens. I used to run numbers, and the city took over the number business and all of the economic. Mom used to do those little hits, man. That's how we paid the mortgage year after year. But when you understand the economics, we get ready to move and change how food is served in our schools. And there's an entire business opportunity of all of those old vendors. The New York City Department of Education has a $27 billion budget, and a substantial amount of that goes to the food. And so all of these young entrepreneurs, why can't you have a multi-million-dollar contracts serving juice in our schools?
That's right, and that's something that I have been looking into. Part of why I launched the Drink Fresh Juice initiative was because I feel like kids need to have better nutrition in their schools and start their days off with these drinks that aren't sugary, fake sugar, artificial things in their drinks, because it does make you have this high and then crash, and then your attention span is gone, and much matters as far as to what we put in our bodies to make sure that we have a productive day.
Let me give you a number that's mind-blowing, and why what you're doing is so important. 75% of 12-year-olds have early signs of heart disease. Young people are the first generation that is predicted not to outlive their parents. So it's not only emotional trauma. In Brownsville, you have junk food. In Park Slope, you have whole food. Our babies are being fed poison every day. Processed meat is a type 1 carcinogen, equivalent to smoking cigarettes. But we feed it to our babies every day, and that's why we have to change. Right, and we eat it. What I'm saying?
I'll even say, with financial literacy, we incorporate lifestyle because it's important. If you're not
Health
taking care of yourself, you don't even need to practice financial literacy. The first thing is taking care of your body's health, body, mind, and soul. You don't want to be 60 years old with $60 million and have to be on machines and in the hospital every day.
And you think about how expensive it is.
Exactly. I mean, I go to these high schools and these kids, first thing we talk about, there's no junk food when I'm teaching class or anything like that, because it's mind, body, and soul. You got to take care of yourself first. But to enjoy this, money doesn't cure anything. Money doesn't bring you happiness.
It's actually very expensive to have those medical bills and those bills that you have to be on all the time.
It's traumatizing.
And I go tuck in schools and they'll give me junk food, and I'm like, this is what everybody has to eat. I thought
we changed that game at Borough Hall. In 2013. When I first got diagnosed as diabetic, I lost my sight. The doctor said, Eric, you're gonna be blind in a year. I had permanent nerve damage. That you're gonna lose some fingers and some toes.
Damn.
I was in some bad shape, and it wasn't until I used to hit juicing all the time and started eating. When I converted my food to a whole food plant-based diet, my vision came back, my nerve damage went away, my cholesterol normalized, and whoever has not tried your prostate drink, they need to try it.
Here comes the juices for life.
But it's all a part of this paradigm.
Wait a minute, what's the prostate drink? Wow. What is a prostate drink? What's in the prostate drink, Ian?
I've never had it personally.
I've had it.
But it's part of where we're going.
No, I have had it.
You said it so right, brother. We have to stop just thinking we can survive. We have to thrive. And let's thrive in every area of our life. Let's thrive with our economics. Let's thrive with our health. Let's thrive with our relationships, with our families. It's about thriving. This is the first generation that's moving away from just survival.
And
That's
I'll
right.
say this: there's enough wealth-minded people in our community. When I say community, I mean Black community. That we don't need outside assistance.
Yeah.
We can
That's
help
right.
each other. We're
Yeah.
at the point
Yeah, absolutely.
where everybody
Right.
says, I told the borough president last time I spoke to him, social programs, social assistance are bridges, not highways. We need to help each other. We need to work with, and I believe like everybody that succeeded needs to give a playbook of how they got there, not
That's
just
right.
go up and speak about what they've done. Talk about how I hustled out the trunk of my car, how I interviewed here. If everybody gave a playbook back to the community, our community would be fine.
No, so
You
That's
can't
right.
trust the people who made you sick to help you heal.
right. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
We gotta
saying?
do it ourselves.
It's a business,
And
man.
we're there.
It's a business. And that's such a powerful comment because the real drug dealer is not the cat standing on the corner with blue jeans. It's the 3-piece pharmaceutical
That's
industry. That my mom was on 9 medications at 80 years old until she went to a whole food plant-based
Wow.
diet. She was 15 years diabetic, 7 years on insulin, 2 months went to a whole food diet off her insulin.
Yeah, listen, people will tell you that what you eat is one of the most key things to
Without a
making
doubt.
sure. Like, I don't even take medicine if I get sick or something's wrong, and I barely ever get sick.
Right.
But
Mhm.
that's because of what I eat every day, and
Right.
And I'm always trying to do better. By the way, I don't think any of this is about you being perfect, but I do think it's
It's a
improving.
work in progress.
It
Yeah.
is, without a doubt. But you know what's interesting? I could be in the room with some of the most intellectual Negroes on the globe with all of their degrees, with all how they build companies. You start telling them about, listen, you need to take care of your body. You want to see some buffoonery come out? So you can't have all that energy building a corporation, as you stated, but then when it comes down to building your body, when I got diabetic, my son said, Dad, you used to drive around and put the best gas in your BMW. You weren't putting the best food in your body.
Woo!
You put regular
Put that
gas
93 in your body.
in your body.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what this mission is about, of shifting and really empowering our community. But you have seen nothing. In 2021, when I'm mayor, Black folks are going to be empowered in this city like they've never seen before. We're going to be part of small businesses. We're going to start seeing the empowerment of how do we empower our schools that feeds our prison system. Just check this number out. That's powerful. Everybody's talking about closing Rikers Island, right? We should be talking about closing the pipeline of Rikers Island.
Right.
80% of the brothers and sisters on Rikers Island don't have a high school diploma, equivalency diploma. A third of the 18 to 21 years old read below a 5th grade reading level. 30 to 40% are dyslexic. So if we deal with the problem before they get to Rikers Island, an upstream mindset, you won't have the crisis of a Rikers Island. So later for the buildings, how do we kill the pipeline that feeds Rikers Island? And that's the
And
conversation.
just to
we
piggyback
need.
off what you said, I've taught at detention centers. I've taught where kids have been released on bail and so forth. And once again, when you clear the message and relate it to them in a way that they can understand, and like
Right.
you said, listen to their message, listen to what they want to say, and build. First question we ask in the program is, tell us what your goals are. And we're going to build a plan around your goals, not what we're going to see in a textbook. And we're just going to present you with tools that can help you achieve your
Right.
goals, and understanding their deficits. Yeah, they come out with a criminal record, so maybe getting certain jobs are not for them, but so teach them an entrepreneurial way, a way in which they can leverage whatever skills they have
That's
to,
right.
to build a life for themselves.
That's right.
And I always think it's important people know services that are available that we pay our taxes for.
There you go.
That's free. Well, not free, but we pay our taxes to be able to go to the SBS.
Yes,
And
yes.
get help from
You can
from
explain
them.
that acronym.
Small business services.
We leave millions on the table of resources and services that are available to us. We sponsored this program called Benefit Kitchen. You could put your information in. They would tell you all of the things that are available for you. You're not asking for a handout. Those are your tax dollars.
Right.
And you need to use those tax dollars as a bridge to get to the level that you are trying to get to, and you're gonna hit some bumps in the road. I mean,
You might change your plan and your direction, but
nothing wrong. And
That's called life.
right, and you don't have to be perfect.
Right.
People criticize me and say you did something wrong. I say so what?
you was about to say, I heard it. Go ahead.
I want to talk about the school to prison pipeline thing,
Yeah.
right? Like when it comes to those schools, do you shut them down or do we just supply them with the resources they need to thrive?
That's a powerful
my
question.
mom is a teacher in
Right.
South Carolina. Well, she's retired now, but
Right.
she always wanted to do her best, but sometimes you
Right.
just couldn't. You didn't have the resources.
This is a powerful question, brother. Let me tell you what the problem is. We don't scale up success. You have a great program in Brooklyn called Eagle Academy in Brownsville, where 30-something% of the students graduate in Brownsville. But in Eagle Academy, a school for all black boys, you have an 89% graduation rate and an equal number going to college. But we don't scale up success. Bedford Academy on Bedford Avenue, unbelievable school, because it's profitable for our young people not to get educated, because you have all these darn programs that people are feeding off of us. You can go to Compton in Los Angeles, South Side of Chicago, Liberty City in Miami, or Brownsville, New York. The same demographics. Either we can't learn, or it's intentional that we're not learning. And I say it's intentional that we're not learning.
Well, let's even talk about, I don't even diverse a little, just even go into the whole public school system in New York City. To me, the solutions are simple. You partner the not so good schools with the good schools. You make those kids interact with one another. And you make them take the same program, and then everybody, your top 5% schools go to students go to specialized schools. There's no testing anymore. Whoever the top 5% are, they go to specialized schools, and the good schools partner with the weak schools. Why is it schools in downtown Manhattan have swimming pools, and schools that I teach in Brownsville, New York, you can't even drink out of the water? And they're all public schools. And then you get rid of the whole treasury funds, because that's where the discrepancy starts, that there's treasury funds where parents that can afford to give money to the public schools give it to their particular school. If you want to give money to a public school, you give it to all the schools. It goes into one fund, and it's spread out amongst all the schools, not just one school in Stuyvesant, not just one school and another school gets nothing. No, you want to give to the school, you're giving to all the public schools, not just one.
And then support the teachers. As you said, your mom, we're not giving teachers the support on the ground. We should have a mentorship program. Right now, teachers come into the Department of Education, they're thrown into the classroom. Everyone should go through a period of how do you learn your craft? Absolutely. How do you become better at your craft? And let's do steps in the process, and then put the money inside the school buildings. And think outside the box. We're doing something in Brooklyn where we're learning hydroponics, other ways of growing food in the school system, teaching nutrition, teaching health. We have too many schools. We don't have gym. We have a crisis in obesity, crisis in diabetes,
that is so true.
Crisis in asthma, and we're not teaching our children inside our classroom. We pushed a bill in Albany that financial literacy should be taught. Think about the number one issue that impacts the quality of your life is your finance.
That's right.
And if you're not taught how to manage your money, you're always going to be trying to catch up. That's why it's so powerful what Financially Clean is doing. This is a major stepping stone for our community when we start talking about it.
Let's talk about the program and how can people come and how can people watch it online? How can people participate in Financially Clean?
The class starts Tuesday, August 13th, and it goes for 8 weeks consecutively. And it's a building process, so it's not just, we're not repeating the same thing every week. And the 5 principles that we teach are credit, learning to live without, education, attention to detail, and no shame in your game. And if you can't make the class, then we can also listen to it on live, which is at financiallyclean.splashthat.com. And we're hoping that it becomes a success, and we continue to teach it at Borough Hall. And also we also have a podcast that does fairly well. It's called Two Black Guys with Good Credit, and that gets a little more into detail of what we teach in the classes. And the funny thing about the podcast, although it's called Two Black Guys with Good Credit, our audience is wide based. It's not even gender, race specific. We get people writing in from all over the world just thanking us for making financial literacy easy to understand. And it's really, that's what it is, breaking down these things and making it easy for people to comprehend and understand that how important it is to have it in their life, regardless of what they're trying to do in life. They're trying to be a doctor, nurse, politician. It's important to manage your money, because I've met people, just because you have money doesn't mean you're financially literate. Now,
Shaun, what's your background, just so people know, so they know why you're the authority on teaching this class?
Well, I come from a single mother. I grew up in government housing myself. But one thing my mother always did, she leveraged credit to give us a certain lifestyle. Although we lived in the hood, our fridge was always packed. The couch may have plastic on it, but it was brand new and it was good.
That's how you keep it preserved.
That's how you keep it. So she taught me, by watching her, how she used credit. I mean, I don't even want to know the interest rates that she was paying, but she was always using credit to acquire things. And I think I got that from her. And then I came to New York and worked on Wall Street for a number of years. Instead of buying stock, I just started buying real estate, because really I needed a place to live. So I started flipping properties in Brooklyn and then keeping some. And then through those stages and I started my own business, shipping business, I saw the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I just think there was a time to share this. I was sharing with my kids as a father, and I said, I'm a father, but I'm a black man and a human being as well, and I just felt that it's important to share this knowledge that I have and talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And it's
I'm sorry. I love your shirt.
Oh, I got one for you. I got one for you.
That message. How
That's
different,
why he does have gifts for us.
How different would things be if everyone in the hood had good credit?
Right.
Answer the question.
I think financial literacy is a cure for cancer in a lot of community, in our community. If you start with that and educating people on financial literacy and knowing how to, people come into our community all the time and leverage it, and realize, hey, let's put a Starbucks here. Let's gentrify this building. Let's renovate this, and we're just watching it happen and not understanding the value that's in our building and in our community and how we can leverage things and how we can grow and start our own brand and build our own community. And I think if people had good credit and understand finance, they would keep their communities impeccable. They would do things and start generating income. They'd work together, and they're learning that partnership and working with people. That's one thing we do as people of color. We choose not to work together. We choose not to share information. And I think once you understand the tools and you have that wealth mindset, everything, you see opportunity.
Right.
Rather than see oppression, you see opportunity.
Right, without a doubt. And I think that's some of the things that when you just look right here with the three of you, these are issues that are impacting our community. How do we manage stress? How do we deal with stress? What your book is doing and how it's helping people deal with a very serious issue that we ignored.
Mental health.
How do we deal with financial literacy? How do we invest in our future to be able to pay for college for our children? How do we eat healthy and ensure that our lives are healthy? So there's a paradigm shift. There's a universal global shift that's taking place where black folks, and you hit it out the park, black folks are not looking just to survive. They're looking to thrive.
That's right.
And is ready, and we are so ready and we're so capable. Our talent is so deep when you start to really allow it to manifest itself, and we have to spread that word. And so what you're doing here at the Breakfast Club is so powerful because your audience is really in need of hearing that information.
And we didn't let it slide past when you said 2021 when you're
Running for mayor. We heard you.
We're going to do this. We're excited. Talking about financial strength. When I first started out this journey, people said, listen, you may have the right pedigree, but the reality is black folks can't raise money to run citywide. Historically, we didn't. I raised over $2.4 million. I raised the entire field, of candidates. Our mission is solid. Our voice is solid. What we want to do is different from all the other candidates. And I'm ready for this. And I'm built for this.
Having worked in the police department, how does that reflect on your relationship with the police and what needs to be done?
So much needs to be done. Although, the city is safer, East New York is no longer murder capital of the nation, but the reality is there's so many impediments to have proper policing, and we want to focus on those areas. And there was a nice transition for me. As I stated, I was arrested at 15. Cops beat me so bad. They kicked my brother and I in the groin so much that for a week we were urinating blood. Instead of leaving the department of saying I hate it, I took that pain and turned it into purpose. I started an organization called 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement Who Care. We were straight up. These was cats straight from NYCHA. We were a whole group that fought against some of the angry stuff that was happening in the police department. Now you take that, go to the state senate, become a state senator. Now I'm borough president, first African-American borough president. And all of those experiences made me who I am today, that I know what is holding our city back. And I'm going to have a solid platform of empowering people to use this $92 billion corporate budget to build black institutional wealth. That's the goal. And I'm very clear and I'm unapologetic about it. We need to have the opportunity to build institutional wealth. Ross Perot was a billionaire because of governmental contracts. There's no reason your book shouldn't be in every school. That's a multi-million-dollar contract. Just taking your books and say, we're doing institutional wealth with you, but at the same time, we're giving our children something they need to know. You should have the contract in the DOE and the health and hospital and homeless services are providing juices. Multi-million-dollar contract. You could hire other young people. That's what we need to start doing. Building wealth, institutional wealth, and no one's going to do it like me.
Eric, when you connect those dots, I don't have a problem kicking out 5-10%, you know what I'm saying, for the connection. You know what I mean? That can happen. All right?
All right, so once again, where can people go and sign up so we can make sure they can show up?
financiallyclean.splashthat.com. Please sign up. Please attend. If you can't, the live stream is available for you. Angela Lee will be there.
I'll be there, yes. I'll be joining Shaun.
She's a proud sponsor, and I thank her so much for always continuing to support, and also the borough president, and hopefully you, Charlamagne, as well.
Absolutely.
And when you announce your official run, you'll be back up here, I'm sure.
Without a doubt, we would love to lay it out and do what we have to do. Look forward to your event.
Angela Yee Day, August 28th.
Can I bear my gifts? Can I bear?
Of course.
All right.
Let's get these gifts now.
All right.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. You're competing today because Ayanna Presley gave us some dope-ass We Are the Squad shirts now.
Okay, let me see what I got here.
Let me see what you got.
Okay, well, this one is the same one I'm wearing.
All right.
And you already like
That's
that.
fire.
That's
I'm
fire.
with that. I'm with that.
Okay, and then I got another one here.
Oh, this is small. This is Yee.
That's you. That's
These
you.
are large.
I got two here. Let me
You
get
look
the other
small.
style here. Where is the other style? I hope I packed it. Did. Two black guys with good credit. Your money is your money.
Okay, dope.
Okay, he likes that.
My wife
we
would
like
disagree.
that.
Your wife would disagree?
Yes.
Okay. And then I also got rubber bands that say I live financially clean.
Extra small.
Okay. What size are you?
A large.
Are you sure you're not a small?
Sure, a large.
What
You look
size
like
are you
medium.
wearing?
I'm wearing a large. You look
Yes.
like okay. I'm gonna got you on a large. I never thought I put medium in here for you.
I think he's a medium.
I am not a medium.
Large.
There you go, my brother. Thank you.
And it's not only brothers in this. We have Dion that's here. She's amazing.
Hey, Dion. Come show off that nice haircut, Dion.
She is the co-founder. She's the co-founder of Financially Clean. So there's always a strong woman behind the scene. And Dion has been there from day one doing it. And also she's the lady with the facts on the podcast as well.
I would say a stronger woman behind the scenes.
Strong woman, absolutely. And tune into the podcast. We're available wherever you hear it, wherever our podcasts are available. Two black guys with good credit.
Word. It's
Well,
Eric
thank you.
Adams, Shaun, Lynda, Dion. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
It's the Breakfast Club.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.